Hello, I'm Ellen Codiff, Editor-in-Chief of Food Channel Pro. We're continuing our video series, Leaders with Guts, with Craig Culver. Craig, can you talk a little bit about the evolution from your first headquarters to this new headquarters that you've been in since around the late 2009?
Well, our first headquarters was in the basement of our first restaurant. That's where our headquarters was, and it worked just fine. And then from there, that's in the in the early '80s is when we were down in the basement, and then we moved from there to downtown Sauk City, in a upper level of a old flooring store, and that took great care of us for a couple years, and then we moved from there to the lower level of that same store, and then we had ceilings, about 7 feet high. You had to duck going through doorways and things like that, and then we needed more space. And an old restaurant in Pertisac, Wisconsin, called the Firehouse, went out of business, and it was actually a restaurant that my family, we went to it all the time. It was sad to see it go, as a matter of fact. But it closed, and I said, that would be a great place for our new headquarters. And it was right on overlooking the Wisconsin River. It's actually a beautiful old building, brick on the old brick on the outside. It was built in 1921. It was originally an Oldsmobile garage, built like a bomb shelter. We moved into there. We outgrew that space. We had to add another building a block away, so now we had two buildings about 18,000 feet, something like that. We outgrew those, and about 3 years ago we started planning for our new headquarters, where we're talking today, and we're located right on the Wisconsin River as well. We just moved in Thanksgiving of last year, of 2009. We've got about 50,000 square feet of space. It's a prairie-style building. It's a beautiful space and a beautiful view, as you've seen.
It's gorgeous. In your last headquarters building, you donated it to the city, and it is now named after your mother, and it's a library. What was that experience like for you?
Oh, neat. To be able to give something of, that value, and I believe that importance to the village, to become a library for one thing, and then to have my mom's name on it, who taught me so much about life and about our business as well, and about hospitality. Pretty cool thing. Not that my mom, we lost mom about almost 2 years ago, but my mom was probably not one that you'd find in a library too often. But it is so cool to have her name on that library. So it's very satisfying.
And when customers or guests come into your units, they don't exactly look like a typical fast food restaurant. How does that design fit into your strategic plans?
When we designed the buildings to begin with, I guess I didn't really think about that. I loved the colors, blue and white. They were soothing to me. Most of the fast food industry at that time was sharp colors, yellows, reds, oranges, and I'm told they were those colors because you would come in and you'd want to get out of there as quickly as possible. But the blue is very soothing, and I just thought it was the perfect colors for us. Over the years, we've evolved a great deal with our buildings as well. Today, the colors inside of our newer buildings, our new prototypes, are more soothing yet. You'd walk into them and you'd see colors like this that you see behind me. They're soft, they're real feel-good colors, Panera-like in many ways. They're very comforting restaurants, they are. On the outside, we did some things differently as well. Little sharper colors and things like that, but inside, it's much softer.
Your company's been involved in a lot of campaigns, Eat More Pork, Drink More Milk. How did those programs evolve? Just by being, I guess, caring about, our neighbors. I mentioned earlier about our ag neighbors, and that's quite a while ago when we got involved with that. But I remember that at that time, the pork industry, these guys were suffering so bad. They were getting cents on the pound for the the animals they were raising, and they were suffering big time. And did we help them? I don't know if we helped them in any way, but we put a simple campaign together, and we were real creative with the name, Eat More Pork. That's really being creative. And we put some billboards out there and some radio spots, and we did the same thing when the dairy industry went down, and drink more milk and some things like that. Again, there are partners in the business, there are suppliers, there are customers, there are guests, and there are neighbors as well.
And also through Culver's, you and your wife Lee started the Culver's VIP Foundation, and that helps your team members in their educational pursuits. Yes. How did that come about, and how many people have taken advantage of that?
The VIP probably started close to 15 years ago, and it started with one $500 scholarship donation to one of our team members. And we didn't even donate that $500. I'll give a plug to Cisco here. They donated that $500. CYSC, our distribution partner. And it's just kept building and building and building. And we have given away close to $2 million now in scholarship monies over those years. We've got that event, that banquet coming up in August, and we're going to give away $250,000 at that event to many of our team members, and not just team members that work for Culver franchise, but team members to our whole organization. And it is such a neat event when those kids come together, and we all gather together, and we don't get all 200 and some there, but we'll get 120, 130 of them there, and it's just so neat. And these kids are bright, and they believe in what they do at Culver's as well. It's just a treasure to have them as team members. It is.
You're also involved recently with the Order Assist program, and I know that you had said that your father was hard of hearing.
Yeah.
How is that working, and would you think other chains should follow suit in that regard?
Well, do I think they should? That's certainly up to them, is what that is. But I believe it's a competitive edge. I do. Whether it's even used or not, I believe it just sends the right message to everybody. It's not just for hard of hearing people. It's people that may be language impaired as well, that may not be able to speak the English language very well. And it can help that Spanish-speaking person or whatever language. And but
right.
The hearing impaired as well. I just think it sends the right message. I really do.
And does diversity play a big part in your corporation?
It does, and we're a long ways from being as diverse as I want to be diverse. But I come from rural roots. Prairie, Sauk City, Wisconsin, a town of together 5,000 when I was growing up. We were as lily white as you can imagine. And as we started to grow the business and grew it out into some metro areas, I learned that diversity is very, very important to us and to our business. And we've got to be better at it and grow the business more in that fashion as well.
You have probably one of the premier family-owned businesses in food service. Would you ever consider selling it?
Absolutely not. I went through that phase in my life 3-4 years ago. 3-4 years ago, people were calling and all the time. Matter of fact, I got something today. Private equity companies and stuff, and it was starting to distract me. And I started thinking about, well, I sell this, take some money off the table, so on and so forth. And then I finally thought about it. I don't want to do that. I don't. I love what I do. I love the people that I'm surrounded with, and I want to continue to work with them. And by the way, that's our name up there on that. On that. I don't want to see anything bad happen to that name. So I made the decision. No, we are not going to sell this company. We're going to continue to run it as a family. And as a matter of fact, with our family board meetings, I have now invited all the children. Now, my brother and sister are shareholders as well. They are minority shareholders, but I have invited the children of my brother and sister and my children to those board meetings as well. Someday, if they're not involved with the company business as far as running the business, they may be running it as a board. So I want them to learn and know as much about the company as they possibly can by attending board meetings.
We've been talking with Craig Culver of Culver's, home of the Butter Burger and frozen custard. Check out the next part of the series as we explore what it takes to be a leader with guts. For Food Channel Pro, I'm Ellen Codiff.